Kirk Gibbs is a mainstay in the Australian Pro Motocross and Supercross pits with a storied 20-year career. He won his maiden MX1 National Championship back 10 years ago in 2015, and his career has been a journey ever since then, with big injuries, choosing a motocross-only pathway, and humble beginnings. Kirk Gibbs has established himself as one of the veteran and legendary figures.
Kirk Gibbs in four for Australia.
ProMX and the Australian Motocross and Supercross pits. Currently calling the Sunshine Coast home for the last handful of years. There's a young family now, and we're going to hear from Gibbsy on his story and how he became one of Australia's best 450 moto riders. So check it out here on the Inside Dirt Show.
Oh yeah, I'm always ready to race. They should have Born to Race, because that's me all over.
All right, Kirk Gibbs in the house. Gibbsy, you're a Sunny Coast native now like me. You've been here a lot longer than me though, but welcome, man. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
How's life, bro? You got a beautiful young family, 1-year-old daughter. Took a bit of coordinating to get this one done. How's you got the business with the recovery center? Still a factory racer. There's a lot going on, man.
Yeah, like you said, yeah, life's pretty hectic when you have a kid, especially. But yeah, it's awesome. I love it. Yeah, obviously the first year and when you have them, it's a big shake up. Obviously a lot less sleep and
yep,
all the above.
We were just talking about this off air, but yes, I can completely relate.
Yeah.
And it only gets more hectic, man.
Definitely. So, like, you know, you have a newfound respect for just everyone, especially parents with their eyeballs hanging out their head.
I found and I'm sure with your workload, right? Like, obviously you're motocross only nowadays, so it's like half the year, and we'll get into all that. But do you remember before being like, oh, I'm so busy? And now you're like, how did I even consider myself busy with the obligations of being a parent? Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And even before the business as well. So like
that too, right?
Like before that, I was like, you know, you just only thought about moto. Like it was literally eat, drink, sleep, ride, recover.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, and now it's just like, yeah, moto's probably only half of the shit that I think of now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I think you see that with a lot of the guys that, because you're what, mid-30s, late 30s?
36.
36, yeah. So you're a year younger than me, right? Whereas like, I never kept it going, but I imagine you've had that base now for what you went pro 20 years ago, give or take, yeah? So like the base is so high where you could probably be, you know, the young guys sort of have to live it because they're still establishing that level, that base. But for you, I noticed that with you, like every time you come back. I mean, it's always the last year, but we'll get to that too. But like, it seems that every year you come back, you may not race for 6 months, 8 months, or you'll do a sunny state here or there, and no one's really going that hard at those events. Like you're not trying to win those, but then you'll still pop up at round 2 or 3 of ProMX and be ready to win a race. It's like that base allows you to, and I think it helps too having distractions, right? Like you're not ruminating over, oh, I got 5th on Sunday. You're like, I got to get my daughter up and go open the business, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I think, yeah, the base is obviously very, very big now. So, yeah, like you said, it's been probably 20 years and, yeah, it's still hard. Like it's definitely hard for me. And it takes, like you said, probably a few rounds for me to iron some stuff out, obviously with the bike. And, you know, I don't really get a lot of help Supercross season, so it's like literally I just get left with a bike and nothing happens. So, so there's like, there's no testing or anything like that, and obviously everyone's doing Super, so there's no. But yeah, so it takes me a little bit. Obviously a little bit older too, so it takes me a little bit to get going, a few rounds. But yeah, once I feel like I'm happy and confident, yeah, I feel like I'm still a top 3 guy in that class. So it's pretty funny.
You are straight up like. Do you get nervous like you used to?
Yeah, I still do.
You do?
Yeah, I definitely do.
Is it like a calm, like, obviously if you weren't getting nervous, there's either something really wrong or in my opinion, you should be not racing anymore, right? Because it means you don't care. But yeah, I guess the nerves. There must be some assurity though. Like, hey, I've been doing this forever. Like, I know what I need to do when the gate drops.
It is like soon as I get to pretty much sight lap, I'm clear.
Yeah, okay.
Like I'm super clear. But everything up to that, I'm still
feeling it.
Pretty wrecked. Like
yeah, okay.
And it's more probably. I mean, now it's probably more, I guess, doubt whether I still have it. Like, and I can still run that speed and still. Obviously, you got the two front guys that are dominating right now. And it's, it's pretty devastating at the moment coming in from qualifying and being like 4 to 6 seconds off, and you feel like you've done a pretty good lap.
Yeah, dude, one of the points, we'll get straight into that point because this is one of the things I had. I said I didn't do any preparation because it's not my strong point. Adam will always agree with that. But one of the things I had to talk about was that I feel like, so start off. My first memory of Kirk Gibbs, right? Obviously, I'm an import, and I won't tell my whole story again. Everyone that listens to the podcast knows it, but I didn't ride for a few years when I moved to Oz. And then when I got back into it, I was like, oh, I'll go race some MX Nationals. So I raced the first 3 rounds of 2012 in the 450s. You were on a 250, and I didn't know the teams. I didn't know anybody. I'm just a privateer. But I remember you full metal militia'd out on the Serco Yamaha, right? And for some reason, I just have this memory of you. Do you remember that round at Coonabarabran? Yep. That uphill like set of jumps. Yep. So sick, so fun. It's one of the most fun tracks I've ever ridden. And it had that massive step up coming back the other way. But I remember you going up that hill and just scrubbing left, right, and obviously you guys like the factory team, so it looked really legit. But obviously, I think Dean was gone at that point, but you were getting ready to graduate to 450s. I think Todd was either here or coming back around those few years. But long short, racing wasn't for me. I went straight into coaching and gym training and growing that thing. But then I remember pretty much from like 2013 on, like even when Dean and Todd came back, but like your era has been at the front of MX1 for the best part of over a decade. And what I wanted to say was like, yeah, like Kyle and Jed have taken it now to the next level, but it took so long for anyone Australian to come up and do that to you guys. Yeah.
Especially, like you said, when Dean and Todd come back, my level for them to still come back was and I was still battling with those guys, and we were trading wins and positions, and 100%. Obviously Dean probably put a hurting on us probably a bit more than what we would liked, but it was it's still like a level that, especially the year after I won the championship, my confidence level was super high. I've never been a real confidence guy. But after that year, I was, even when they came back, I thought I was going to win.
You nearly did.
Almost.
That year, I remember, because I was doing TV back then, and I remember it was down to the final moto.
Definitely.
And then, so that was 2016. And did you go second or third in that final moto at Coolum?
Third.
And you had to, whoever won the day won the event, right?
Yeah, so I was I think it was 6 points up going in.
You had the red plate because Dean crashed in WA, didn't he?
WA, so that was mid-season, so he'd lost 25 points or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was, 25 up or something, and then the following round at Narra, in first lap of qualifying, I did my ACL.
Oh.
So I didn't even... Was
that public knowledge?
I mean, to most people...
I don't remember.
But I didn't even do a full lap of qualifying. I did it in the, last turn before the mechanics area.
That left bowl.
I did it in the bowl, and it like gunshot, bang,
exploded.
Gone. Yeah. Rode straight from there, straight in the mechanics area, turned right, and just fell off my bike squealing like a little girl.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I've been there. I've done my ACL. I did the same thing.
They hurt for like 3 to 5 minutes, and then I was like, and then I just rode back to the truck.
I did the same thing. I had for some reason, a really like, I'll make a comeback to Supercross at 30. And I did 2016 Supercross, but I didn't because I missed the first round of a shoulder injury. Second lap of practice, Toowoomba, second round, went through the whoops, got squirrely, put my leg out, exploded my ACL, MCL. You didn't crash, got the leg back on, and just rode to the berm and fell over. And I was like, yeah, dislocated my knee the whole 9. So yeah, I can totally relate. It was a pain I've never felt before. It sucked, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you were on a. I don't even remember that. I don't remember talking about that. But maybe I just didn't say it on TV. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it was.
You guys are
knowledge, but I never really was like, yeah, I've done my ACL. You know what I mean?
It's not
Went out
something
about
you're stoked about, right?
Yeah, so I obviously band-aided that for, I think it was like a round or 2. It was still pretty sore.
Yeah.
And that's when Dean really started going like
clicking off.
He was like 1 and 2. He never finished outside the top 2.
Yeah.
And I sort of was like 3rds and 4ths.
Yeah.
And then obviously it come down to the last round there, and I think he won the first moto, and I think we're even going into the last moto.
Because I just remember like doing my job with TV, just hyping the fuck out of it, like this is for the championship, you know.
Yeah.
And we had like TV graphics and everything, and I did Todd. Who won that last moto? Todd or Dean?
Might have, yeah.
Was Todd on a Suzuki back then?
Yeah, he was on a Suzuki.
Yeah, wow.
But
that's crazy.
Anyways,
that was 9 years ago, and you won your championship 10 years ago. Yeah. Yes.
So anyway, I ripped a whole shot in that last moto and was going, man.
That's right.
I mean, 15, 20 minutes I led.
You did.
Just exploded myself. And they just blew my doors off.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And unfortunately, just had to take it on the chin.
Considering the year, I mean, I still think that you had the really gnarly injury that year in Supercross. Is that correct? Was it 16?
And 15,
When was the femur for Soupy?
16 was.
So that was
femur.
that year.
Yeah. So 15, I did my pelvis.
Oh, was that 15?
Shattered my pelvis in 15. Come back, race 16 moto, and then
16
got picked for designations. It was would have been my first go.
Right.
And then literally 2 days later, crashed, practicing for Supercross because it was such a short. That year was real short. It was only
like 3 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd literally got off that straight on to Soupy, and we got a fresh track built out at QMP, and was just going through the whoops, and they were deteriorating pretty quick, and just kept moving, and then blew through one.
Right.
And it, threw me, broke my femur, and.
Because I remember, because literally I did TV for Coolum that year, and then I started riding Supercross because I was like, I'm going to race. And what the hell I was thinking. But anyway, I remember hearing about you. I was like, podium might be open for me now. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I remember, and that was the year after you did because the pelvis was pretty gnarly, hey?
Yeah, so I shattered it in it had 5 or 6 different cracks through it, but it didn't displace.
Oh, okay,
So,
that's good.
Yeah, I did it at Pimma.
Out at Reardon's joint.
Yeah, Reardon's track.
Yeah.
And just on off, and it was getting chewed out, and I got a little kick and tagged the off, and then still went 3 and just stepped out the front. But when I stepped out the front, the bike pushed me through into the next one.
Yeah.
And I landed on my backside, and then anyway, I walked back to the car. Todd was there. He just got home from Europe, and he came out to watch. Anyway, he literally pulled up, put me in the van, drove me into the
drove you to the hospital.
Gold Coast Hospital, and
far out, man. So I still think that gets your championship year. I want to go back a bit as well with where you came from and how you ended up on the sunny coast and your early years of being from South Australia. We'll talk about New Zealand to keep Adam happy. But I think, you talk about Dean putting a hurting on you guys in sort of 17, 18. But in my opinion, the level you were at in 15 when you won was really high. You didn't just win that year. You pretty much dominated it from memory. I mean, we're going back 10 years, but I remember commentating, and I just used to call you the Diesel. With Dungy was back then. I don't know if you like that. You probably didn't.
Yeah.
Because you were just solid. Same lap time, 28 minutes in. If you didn't, I can't remember the particulars, but you won a lot of those rounds. Yep. Who were you battling that year for the championship?
I think Mosick got second, but it was the year
that's when
Reardon came back too.
That's right. Dan was there. Yeah, because Dan was going for it the first round. Didn't you guys get into it?
No, it mustn't have been round 1 because I went 1-1.
At Horsham.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember him punting some people at round 1.
Yeah, I
Like
think
he
we
had a
had a
point
pretty
to
good
prove.
battle at Broadford, round 2 or 3.
Was that the year Mosey was on Cowie?
No, he was Dakar.
He was CDR, that's right.
Eden and him were Dakar. Yeah.
They were the teammates, that's right. It's crazy how much the sport changes in 10 years. For you to still be here, like just talking about the names that have come and gone.
Yeah.
That's right. Mosey was fast that year. Yeah, Reardon was fast too. But yeah, I think the level you were at that year, and then you and Dean, it wasn't like Dean was just, he didn't do perfect season in 16. Like you guys were battling.
Yeah.
And then I feel like your injury between 15 and 16, like Supercross really fucked you as far as your progress with outdoors. Because I feel like then in 17, like you've had 2 complete off seasons of injury, and Dean had a year of building and came into 17 just on it. And I think that hurt you a lot, man.
Definitely. And I think that, like you said, and he obviously must have got the bike a little bit better again, where I felt like for me, 15, 16, I really enjoyed my bike, but from 17, 18.
17 was the new one, correct?
16 was a new one.
16 was the new
but
one.
we just had some changes go internally.
Well, wasn't that the year that, because you were in-house, then was that the year Marmont's was team manager?
Yeah, so he came in 17 and we had some different stuff go on and just, I don't know, the bike ended up changing not to the way that I
wanted it
and liked it.
Yeah.
Like 15, 16, I enjoy it. I just used to ride around in 3rd gear, 4th gear everywhere.
Well, that was the joke. Like I remember that on TV where I was like, because everyone would be like, yada, because Mosey used to scrub and rev, out of the bike. And those Yammies back in the day, they were that new version of the reverse moto, right? And then you'd be like, burp, 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 just on the pegs, full Euro spec, not revving.
Yeah.
But going so fast. And it seemed like that didn't seem to work for you anymore in the later years of the 17, 18 era.
Definitely. I used to start in 3rd gear from 15 and 16. I started doing 3rd gear starts.
Yeah, right.
And literally wouldn't touch my clutch.
The whole moto.
All moto, man.
Were you running
had so much
boxes, standard gear boxes?
Standard boxes, but we had factory engines. Like
right, full factory engines.
Full factory. They had so much torque, man. Like I literally didn't have to touch my clutch. I could be in 3rd gear. Man, I laugh at my practice bike had like 40 hours on it. I accidentally clicked it into 4th gear and did a 4th gear start one day. Like pulled it. Yeah, right. Like not fast, obviously.
But it did log off the line.
But it still pulled. Like you try and do a 4th gear start on a bike these days.
It wouldn't even move. Yeah.
They would just instantly stall.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just, like I just thrived on that bike and in that era. Like it just suited me to a T. And still to this day, I scratch my head about how I want to go back.
Can't go back. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I have this conversation with a lot of guys when we do these about the new generation 450s. I think that because to me, like the new era 450, you had the OG 450s, like the mid 2000s that were just like tanks, right? Then like 7, 8, 9, they started getting EFI, they started progressing, but they still had like what I would call, even if the geometry hasn't changed with like the length of the bike, I felt like they were a lot longer, a lot more planted, and I felt like that era you had was the very last of that KTM where I just remember you off the back of the bike. Like you'd always be super far back, like on your toes, chest low, but these high speed like Broadford Hills or Nowra, like I just remember, well, probably not Nowra that year when you did your knee, but like you would just be so leant over but on the pegs and the thing would just drop and drive. Yeah. And I feel like now manufacturers are trying to sell bikes. So what they've done is they've pulled the front wheel into the casing so it turns like a 125. So your old mate up the street that goes and buys one can turn it at the ride park, but it doesn't work for high speed pro level riding. It's such a different bike now.
Like here, and then they've also taken all the torque out of them. So they, so old mate that just goes to turn the throttle doesn't loop the thing straight out. He's just like, he can roll the bike on and it doesn't just hit like it's, going to rip his arms out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, in Europe, they get to do whatever they want. So obviously the manufacturer, KTM and European brands are there, and they get to do whatever they want. So those things are definitely not stock.
No. Have you ever ridden like a factory-based bike? Like I know you said you had engines on KTM, but like whenever you went to get to you riding GPs and stuff, like did you get to ride a GP bike when you raced the USGP?
No, I rode an American spec bike.
Yeah, okay.
Which
is still production based.
Yeah. But every time I went to like nations, after pretty much that US GP, we just sent our own bike because we knew
the bike.
We knew the bike was good.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think that the way the 450s have gone, I think you could tell that it didn't suit your way of riding. And like I look at you now on the KTM, it never looked right with you on Honda or CDR. Like it didn't. Like it's funny to me. I don't know how it felt for you. And I know those years were kind of disrupted with COVID and stuff, but it was like the number 5 is meant to be on. Did you run number 1 that year defending?
Yeah.
Yeah, you claimed it.
Yeah,
it's sick. I would do that. I don't know why guys don't do that.
I was like, I only won one, so I
would run it. If I won a Sunny State or a Vic title, I would run number 1.
Yeah. You listen to that, you earn it. So
fuck yeah, run it. I would tell you. I trying to remember you running it. I don't know. It's funny, right? I remember when I came into the scene and you talk to the guys that have been around a long time and they don't remember what year exactly it was or what year was that at that track. Yeah. And now I'm there and I hate it because I'm like, I kind of have memories, but it's just blurred,
Yeah.
No, it is interesting where the bikes have gone. And I think it took you, I'm trying to remember the timeline. I want to go back before we go forward though. So let's go back. So obviously you're not from, just going to grab a drink real quick. You're not from up here. So how did you end up, you're from SA originally. When did you end up in Queensland? Because you've been here a long time now, hey?
Yeah. So I didn't get a ride until 08, I think, 08 or 09.
Okay.
And basically that was I rode for Team 7, like you would have heard
07?
Yeah, 07 back in the day. That was at SA.
Originally it was, right?
Yeah.
And then him and Powley did the 07 Cowie deal, but that was later on.
Yeah. So, a little bit later, but I rode for them and that was obviously an SA-based thing. So I stayed with them and then the opportunity came up to race for Serco. So I flew up here, did a test, and I'm really good friends with Brendan Harrison. And
that's right. You guys are tight, hey?
Yeah. So, and obviously I was just hanging out in Adelaide. There wasn't a lot of dudes riding back then. It's still the same now. No one really.
There's not much of a scene, is there?
Not much of a scene there. No. So,
which is a shame because I feel like there's heaps of good tracks out there. But there's just no one to ride with.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's some sick stuff down there. Same as WA, like as well.
Yeah, well, I guess when you look at the population base, like there's not a lot of areas left where there's people, but then land.
Yeah,
like I see that up here, like. Victoria for the longest time was the hub, I think.
Yep.
But that's all changing now. Like you pretty much got Ross.
Yeah.
And he's got all the tracks in Gippsland on lock, but there's not a lot of, if you're not on a program.
Yeah.
And it seems the same up here. Like I got a bike last year and I went to MX Farm like 5 times. It was sick. I love it out there, but I was just like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Like there's no, and I could hit you up. I could hit up Ford. I could hit up anybody. Like I know everybody and be like, oh, I did. I was like, oh, where are you guys riding? Like, oh, it's fucking drive 4 hours into the bush, turn left at the watering hole. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. Like I just want to go ride a track and wash my bike at 1 o'clock,
Yeah,
like,
100%.
So it seems like, it seems that way up here. Obviously you have it on lock here, but there's a lot of traveling involved to ride here, eh? Yeah.
For sure.
So you did the Serco test and then you probably like, well, why am I down here in the cold when I could be up there?
Yeah, well, Brendan, he was like, just come up here. There's endless tracks to ride. Like, and at that point there was like 07, 08 was like there were so many tracks that we could ride within like an hour and a half.
Yeah, right.
And it was, so it was sick. So I just packed my things and just moved in with him.
Yeah.
And, so we lived out back at Jimboomba of all places.
Yeah.
And we just motoed, like just rode and trained, and that's all we did. So that's how that basically all started in the movie.
And then you never looked back? You never went home?
Nah, never. Oh, I went back for a couple of months here and there, but just mostly it was to save to buy a house.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, just when you weren't, just move back in with mum and dad and chill.
Yep. So that was end of 2013. I got hurt in Supercross, so I just went home for a few months and saved some money, and then come up and bought a house, and then that was it.
Rest was history.
Yep.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's a pretty good spot, man. I say it to everybody. Like, I don't know why it took me so long to get up here.
You just don't know until you know. Like, I went to the Goldie first, so brought there and then lived there until 2009, right before COVID, and then we.
Oh, were you still on the Goldie back then?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know. Yeah.
So I lived, like, obviously I got along with Todd very well once we were on the team, and we same thing. Before he went to Europe, we just rode and trained together, and
I did Goldie for two and a half years in COVID. And then I came up here at one point and I was like, oh yeah, cool. I used to come here all the time. Why do I not live here? What, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it worked out the way it needed to, but like as far as raising kids and stuff, this place is incredible.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's definitely, for me, it's a lot better than the Goldie.
Yeah, Goldie's not, like if I was 25 and single, I'd be in Burleigh in an apartment and just living. But I've got kids and family, but no, like, man, like, yes, Wednesday night after school, go to the beach. Last night we're at Alex Head Skate Park. Like, what more could you? Yeah, this is back to normal weather, right? Like the rain's been gnarly this year, though. But, right. So you pretty much just never look back. I didn't know you, like I said, as far as I didn't know anybody until I really came into the scene, and my transition was pretty quick. Like I went from not riding to getting into it, doing some ProMX, realizing that there was so much opportunity in Australia and no one wanted to do anything. So I was like, cool, I'm just going to do a bunch of cool shit because no one seems to get that here. And then all of a sudden, like I'm in the training thing, the gym thing, TV, and you're one of the guys, but I don't know your come up. So like, were you a standout junior? Like, what was your deal?
Not really. I mean, I did my first junior Aussies in 99.
Yeah, right.
And that was because it was in Mount Gambier at our home track. So I did that, and then that sort of opened our eyes to junior Aussies, and we sort of did them from there. But I never did any good until my last year of juniors, because I didn't train, I didn't do anything. I was not the guy kid that was sitting down going, watching McGrath and watching all these Supercross videos and going,
like a normal kid, right?
And I'm going to be the next guy. You know what I mean? I was just riding my pushy down, hanging out with me mates. Like, like I didn't have to go riding and didn't have to go training. My parents weren't hard on me or anything. And then I got to about 15, and then obviously that's when I was in high school, and I was like, oh yeah, and then started doing a little bit of off-bike training, just running and stuff like that. And as soon as I started doing that, I dropped a bit of like body weight. I was a little bit tubbier, and actually started riding like on weekends.
Yeah.
And started spanking everyone. And
I love it in the sense of like Dean's story is different but somewhat similar, or it's like, you imagine one of these elite kids now that just went into MX3 having this conversation. Like they've been dropped out of school since they were on 50s. And
dude.
Living it.
Well, my rule was if I ever got worse than a C at school, I got my bike taken off me. Yeah. So I couldn't fail any classes. I couldn't fail like anything. So,
and that's why you can have a conversation now.
Sorta. Yeah.
No, man, you're solid. I made Joe. I shouldn't. I know media is not everybody's thing. Like even like we come in, we're bullshitting before we press record, and I could see when we press record, for a few minutes, it's a bit. It was never I never interviewing you. You were never like a big media guy. Yeah. But I don't know, man. Some of the kids today that I interview, I'm like, with the way socials are now and how they're exposed to it, they should be so much more comfortable and they can't even string a sentence together on camera. And that's not me talking down on anybody. It concerns me that it's such a big part of the sport, and these youngsters, considering your generation didn't grow up with it, you know, they should be so much more comfortable with it. But that's a whole other thing. I think there's a lot of peer pressure involved with that now, where they're so scared to say something wrong, or be seen to be.
Social's good, but it's bad at the same stage.
Well, you're that era of me, right, where you remember life without it.
Yeah.
You know, Adam remembers life before the telephone. It is, yeah. No, it's a double-edged sword, but yeah, I think there's a lot to it, man. Like, obviously sounds like you had a pretty journeyman, you know, career coming in, right? And then you went pro into, was MXD a thing when you went, or did you go straight into MX2?
It was called National Cup,
right? And before it was
yeah. So it was me and FD.
Yeah.
So that was my first year out of juniors. I raced that, and then I went straight to lights for a year.
Yeah.
Got
so
absolutely.
Like 08, 07?
07.
So 06 you went into that National Cup thing?
05, no, 06. 06 was first year lights. Got absolutely waxed because I was racing like Troy Doran, Doggy Marmont, dude. Like, dudes just
OG
dudes.
Did Mossy have been in there back then?
Yeah, but he didn't start killing it till the year after.
Right.
But like Hody, all them sorts of dudes.
OG guys.
Dude,
yeah.
Like, they were bad dudes back then. And
Aussie scene was not, like I said, that was before my time.
Yeah.
Like, I lived here when I was a kid for like a year in like 2000. And I only stayed in Victoria. We didn't grasp like how big Australia was because we were from the UK. But like, I remember racing Mosig and Monya, and there was so many fast guys. It actually really haunts me because like when we lived in Oz on 85s, like I would beat Mosig, Monya, like we were all the same age. And I think I had such an advantage coming from Europe back then because the scene was so big.
Yeah.
And when we moved back to the UK, my family kind of broke up and I never really had that ability to go further. But then when I came back and I seen all these kids I grew up racing just on factory teams, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I should have stayed here. Like, But there's such a journey from there to pros. But that era was gnarly. It's like I remember the seniors back when I was living here as a kid was all that era that they had just gone, you know, they were vets when you went pro, but they were entry-level pros when I moved here as a kid. And they were so fast, man.
Dude, Doggy was pulling whole shots on like 3 bike lengths.
Yeah.
Troy Doran was like 30. Cam Taylor was 30. I'm like 16 rolling in, racing dudes
just flapping off the back.
Yeah, like who are my age, you know what I mean? Like back then I was like, man, why aren't these guys retired?
Yeah, true. It's like you racing. Well, who's the youngest guy in like MX1 now? Probably someone like why am I drawing a blank
like
here?
Zach Watson.
Yeah, Zach. What's he like?
He's
20?
like 21.
Yeah, so you're like
20.
17 years older than him.
Yeah, loose. Like even now when I Jackson Fuller MX3, he's like 15, 16. So I'm double his age, man. Like over double his age.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. It makes you start to question, like, I don't know, time is a weird thing, isn't it? Like,
it is, yeah.
Like I said, your base is so high now, but they're the next generation.
Yeah.
It's a real interesting dynamic. Like, you talk to kids, I remember that. Then I do it, like, oh, do you remember that? Like, I was born 2 years before. I'm like, what? Like, does it seem like that long ago?
We do it all the time at the track during the week. Me and FD are like, oh, how's this? And then they'll be like, they don't even remember, or they weren't even born. You're like, man, that's like depressing. We were racing seniors when they were basically getting born, eh?
Yeah, it's that's the thing. There's not many senior sort of guys left, I guess.
And that's like, what happens. I guess everyone phases out, you know, like Medi was the oldest. He was, 40 last year, which was...
Medi's such an OG.
That's such a good innings.
It is. Are you still race manager, mum? Are you going over?
Yeah. No. It's, normally we do, but things are a bit tight with parts and stuff at Cato at the moment. So.
Yeah, there's a whole other That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, there's a bunch of
and you
stuff
still
going.
ride for the team, so maybe we won't have that
yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, everything's sweet there. It's just
Yeah.
you know the production and stuff that they slowed down. It's hard to get parts at the moment. so.
Yeah, it's not the year to be pushing anything.
Yeah, it's just hard to go and do a race where potentially, if anything went wrong, you use a bunch of parts and then we don't have them for the rest of the year, you know?
We look at KTM this year, though, as an actual outfit. It's gone harder than many years.
That's what I mean. It's
so
actually going really well here.
it is.
And we're getting a lot more outside sponsors at the moment, which is it's pretty cool.
Well, I wanted to ask about that, the Thirsty Camel deal. That is so... If there was ever the most Australian sponsorship deal I could come up with, did you see that? Thirsty Camel? So Thirsty Camel is now Factory KTM Australia sponsor. Yeah. And I seen it and I was like, of course. Like, why wouldn't that be? Like,
So there's another one coming too.
really?
Yeah, in the next few weeks you'll see another one, which is
That's
another Aussie.
another Aussie brand. Yeah. Because there hasn't been alcohol in the sport since Colton Dry.
Yeah.
And I was working on something for a rider. I've kind of moved away from the rider management stuff now, but a while ago I was doing a bit of that, and I was working on a private team deal with the alcohol thing. And I remember calling MA and being like, "Can you talk to the legal department and like find out what we can and can't do?"
Yeah.
And they kind of asked me some questions, and they're like, "We're not going to talk to legal, you know, because it costs us money." But they're like, "This is the boundaries and what you can." Anyway, but yeah, I guess Thirsty Camel is not actually a liquor brand, so maybe there's a.
And Jackson Fuller MX3, he's under 18. He couldn't run the logo.
Couldn't run the logo.
Yeah,
right.
and Byron had only just turned 18, so he was allowed. He was allowed to.
Yeah, right. So do you get like a loyalty card, like a free card for the drive-through now, or what do you get?
I don't know. Maybe I'll wait until I'm retired to get that retired.
You know, post-date my bonuses.
Yeah,
Is throwing you slabs off the podium.
yeah.
So, what was I going to say? With that sponsor, you know what I love, right? Australia's such an outlier. And hats off to KTM marketing, by the way. That's considering what's going on for them right now.
Yeah.
If they're landing, because I know they had the Dodge deal.
Yeah.
That's cool to see that at the races.
Yeah.
Cool guy NATO gets the truck. Did you not get a truck?
Nah.
No, you didn't see the image.
Yeah. We'll just leave that one there.
Can't put the stroller in the back.
Yeah.
But you know, I always found it super interesting, right? That it's a global deal. Like Yamaha has managed to. It took a long time. First with CDR, now they've finally streamlined.
Yep.
Same as the rest of the world. It's Monster Energy, Yamaha, everything over here, right? Love it. It's in line with Europe. It's in line with America. It makes us look legit.
Yeah.
Legitimizes our championship, right? But KTM Group here has never been able to do that. And I remember when I lived in Victoria back in the day when I had the gym, the DPH factory was just up the street.
Yeah.
Same as your Eves. Like there was, you remember that area where Frankston was and stuff, right? That was that hub. And I remember the DPH motorsport team. And that was the year in 19 when they won both championships and folded.
Yeah.
Because they were losing money. And then in the end, they lost their business and it was all to fund the racing. It was completely fucking insanity. Anyway, I remember talking to them and them being like, we've been calling, you know, Husky KTM here. We've been calling America. Like the Rockstar deal was supposed to be global and the Red Bull deal is also global with GP in America, but it doesn't translate to here.
Yeah.
And it's really disappointing. From my understanding, I think it's because of the distribution. Like Coke owns Red Bull. I don't know. Something about distribution and rights, but it's never filtered through to sponsoring the teams here. You may know more than me, or more you can say.
To tell you the truth, I don't really know a whole heap more. I know Kyle has spoken to Red Bull, and they've been in contact with Red Bull. I knew Benny Foster back in the day, who used to work for Red Bull, and like it just, I don't know, it just never
worked.
It never worked, and when Red Bull were looking for someone, they were looking for individual.
Yeah, not a team.
So that's why Ty Simmons ended up with that deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just I don't know whether it's they knew they probably weren't going to get enough out of it or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's supposed to be global. I think. I don't know. I guess for us over here, I just want it to be legitimized.
It would have been cool. Like obviously, yeah. So it would be good to
But Thirsty
match
Camel's
everything.
sick.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Hey, it's a mainstream brand. So
Yeah.
is that Kyle shopping those deals? Does he go into the bottle and like knock on the door with a resume? Because I can't picture Kyle doing that.
I'm not sure. I know that he has part to do with it. I don't know if he
He's
does
probably
it.
got some stuff involved with it.
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's obviously a bunch of stuff going on with those guys, but yeah, obviously it's all coming on later because of everyone was scared because obviously everyone thought KTM was going to go under.
Yeah.
So yeah, like they had these deals organized, and then
it all
got pushed because yeah,
for obvious reasons. It wasn't a good. It did hamper a lot though. Like I won't
massively.
put too much on you to talk about it, but
Yeah.
like I was involved with mutual people we know with
Yep.
different setups with KTM, and it was like wasn't good.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
There
was
was
a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, it's definitely stressful at moments there for sure.
Mm. All right, so Thirsty Camel was cool.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Pretty rad.
I want to do a reel about that, like the logo, and that just being the most Australian thing ever. But let's get back to the initial pro years, MX2. So you're just doing like kind of support deals, privateer deals,
Yeah, just
just doing it yourself.
doing show.
before
Yeah,
you do Circo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me and Dad driving the Ace.
Yeah, the race ace.
Yeah.
Proper OG,
Yeah.
old school.
Yep.
Yeah.
Proper. And
Yeah.
then go to the Circo, and then first year I did not too bad. I think I was 4th or 5th in the championship.
Yeah.
Got a couple of podiums, and
Yeah.
that's when I was like, and then
'Cause, you were like a legit 250 guy. I remember you being
Yeah.
on the podium a lot when I came in. I think that
Yep.
was your last year or second, or maybe your last year 250s was 12, was it?
yeah, it was 12. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 09 was not too bad, and then 2010 was second, but by a long way. PJ Larson come out.
That's
and
right. Just put the
spanked everyone. And then 2011 I was second, but I only lost championship by 10 points to Mossy.
Yeah, right.
I rode pretty good that year. And then obviously 2012, and that was the Meta Militia year,
Yeah.
and I was
Fully deeganed out. Yeah.
yeah, that was my year to win, and I
That was a good bike that year too.
Yeah, I crashed 2 weeks before, went and did actually a Vic state title at Wani 2 weeks before
'Cause
round
that
one.
was- yeah.
And I crashed and broke my scaphoid and didn't know.
Yeah.
And
that old chestnut.
yeah, so pretty much just raced that whole year with a broken skate. I won round one, and then just slippery
Round
slope
one was
from there.
Collindale, right?
Yep.
You did win that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then slippery slope from there. I did okay at Kuna,
Yeah.
and then just kept going downhill from there. And then that was the year that I had that bad crash at Coolum, so in 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Head injury.
yeah. Me and Errol Willis come together off that
Table
off the start, and
I completely forgot about
yeah,
that.
knocked myself out. I was
You
out
were
for
out
like
for-
15 minutes or something, and the way I was laying, the thing was cutting my airway off, and I wasn't breathing, and yeah,
Wow.
so that was when they call it code black or whatever it is, and
So you were in that. Yeah, wow, I completely forgot about that. That's what's so
Yeah.
good about these podcasts. It's like
Yeah.
you go back.
yeah,
I didn't go to Coolum that year. I maxed all my credit cards out by one baggie. I was like, yeah, I'm done. This is ridiculous. But I remember hearing about that, but I didn't know it was that bad.
yeah. So the way I was laying,
Is there any
It must
footage of
have
that
been-
crash? That you don't have any?
I don't have any. I've got a photo of me in the back of the race safe thing, but because they would have a few crashes there, the race safe guys were literally right there.
Yeah.
So that's why, I was pretty lucky. They got to me pretty much straight away.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I think the way I was laying was like extended out, and it was like cutting my airway off.
Wow.
Yeah, and I wasn't breathing when they got to me. And then, I was out for like 15 minutes, and I was out for ages. I didn't wake up until I was back in the race safe.
In the rig.
In the rig. Like it was.
Do you remember any of it?
No, I just remember, I remember everything up straight until the crash, and then only waking up there.
So you remember the day, like before it sort of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
It was patchy to start with.
Yeah.
But I remember waking up there, but then I don't remember until I was in Nambour Hospital. So like I remember it was race day.
Nambour Hospital.
I've been there a few times. It's,
Yeah, right.
it's no good.
I was going to say, like, probably not the place I take someone that's just been unconscious for 15 minutes.
Oh, right.
Well, that's probably standard out there, hey?
Yeah, I think that was just the closest place. So.
Yeah, okay. And then were you rehab or were you just released? Like, did you stay in for a while? Like, how was your brain
so
after that?
my scaphoid was
Blown up.
re-broken
Yeah.
from there. Like it's partly healed, and then so I went and seen Steve. He fixed it, but yeah, I had to do a bunch of head stuff.
Did you have brain bleed?
Test. Nah.
No.
So I actually come out of it not too bad. I had to have. They made me take 6 months off.
Okay.
But I had to wait for my scaphoid anyway, so that was like
Fine.
5 months anyways.
Yeah.
So
You did it the right way though. You didn't try and get back sooner. Maybe
Nah.
with the scaphoid, but
so
that's the danger with head injuries, right? It's not even the first one.
yeah,
It's if you damage it in that period.
Yeah.
You have another concussion.
yeah.
Whatever.
So yeah, and then basically was very unknown what I was doing from there because I didn't have that great a year.
Yeah.
And then I was always trying to stay on Yamaha and go to Dakar, and Dakar didn't really want to take me. Anyway, so yeah, and then I got lucky with Ford staying at Honda.
Yeah.
And then,
450.
Kato opened up, and me and Todd.
That's when you guys went teammates. That's right. Yeah.
So
That would be 13.
13.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember you guys battling at Swan Hill that year for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously it took me a little bit to get used to the 450 and stuff like that. By the end of, and then second to last round, I won my first moto at Toowoomba.
That's
I
right.
went 2-1, but I got beaten overall because of the points in Superpole that day.
I would have been spewing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That did always mix it up a bit. Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You were competitive right away though, because like that year in 13, I was training 12 and 13. Do you remember Sam
Yep.
Martin?
Yep.
Yeah. That kid,
Could have been good.
he was good, man.
He was, yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
He should have been.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, you imagine the amount of people that we've seen in our time that could have been a lot better than what they did. You know?
Well, I love Sam. Like we were close back in the day, and when I said I was a trainer, but I was more of a paid wrangler for him.
Yeah,
his mum and dad would just like run his schedule.
Yeah.
Like somehow we ended up living really close to them where I lived in Vic.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like, can you just not have this kid go off the rails?
Yeah.
And like I remember so many times where he'd be battling with you guys, you know, shouldn't have been on a 450. He was so young.
Yeah.
And just shredding. But anyway, I used to go to the races with him because I was training him. And I remember you pretty much being up to speed right at what maybe it didn't feel that way for you, but you were always top 5, Super Bowls. Like you were there from the beginning.
Yeah. Once I got a few rounds in, like I said, like obviously I'd come off that injury. It took me a while to get used to that bike and the way to ride it. Todd helped me a lot, probably in the first 6 months of how to ride. I didn't ride exactly the way he did, but more lugging it, and that bike allowed it. So, but yeah, once I got first round, I got shredded, man. I got just
That was
towed up.
Harvey Bay, wasn't it?
Raymond Terrace?
It was Raymond Terrace.
Dude, I went
that's
like 13, 15.
Oh, wow.
At
Like, really struggled. Yeah, okay.
Bad. Like so bad arm pump and then anyways, by round 3, I think round 3 was Brawford again, and I was on the box. So
Yeah, I think you were that day. And then by that point of 13 on, you've never really been away from top 3, top 5 guy. Like you've always, like over 12, 15 years in the 450 class.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, like I said, I got a win towards the end of that year, and then 14, me and Mossy battled it out again.
You did. Yeah, you were battling for the championship in 14.
Yeah, I think it was only 10 points again or so that he did.
That the
me.
year Matt was on Suzuki?
Suzuki.
That's right. That's when Suzuki was. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
That Suzuki was such a staple here.
Yeah. I tried to get on Suzuki that many times over the
Jay
years.
Foreman team was it back
it was
in the
sick.
day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that bike was so good.
It was legit. Yeah.
That bike's still good now.
Yeah.
Like I bought one a while, like before COVID, and you talk about how the 450s have changed. Like I just called Powley because he had that kind of what was like the factory team, like 18, 19 Suzuki. He was helping, and I was like, "Hey, what do I do with this thing?" And he's like, "Just buy a 250 shock, do this." And I jumped on it, and it felt like an old school 450.
Yeah,
it was so fun to ride. But anyway, yeah, I forgot you and Mossy went at it that year. And then you just seemed to keep it going into 15. And then that year was your year.
Yeah. So then, like, the bike was, like, obviously 13 was, the bike was good. 14 was better. And then 15, we got some, like, little bit better stuff again. So we had a different ignition. We were running Get back then. And it was like, it had this traction control, man. It was stupid. Yeah. Like, it was cheating. Like, I literally went to the line and just knew no one could beat me unless I'd outbeaten myself.
Yeah. Wow. I guess that's where it gets to, though, right? Where that was the end of that generation bike.
Yeah.
So you guys were on the last year. I'm tipping what would have happened is Europe is already developing their race in the 16s and 15.
So we ended up racing the 16 the last 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So because they were sort of not pushing us to do it, but
well, it's the transition. You got to start marketing the bike,
it's
right?
good to start marketing the bike, put it that way. So, but yeah, I did all the winning on the 15 bike, which was it's been all time favorite.
I was going to say that's the bike. If you could go back to any bike,
I got it in my shed, and I think about pulling it out every day to ride it.
Because it's at Moto 1 sometimes. Hey,
he brought it home because I brought it when I won the championship. I brought it and gave it to my dad.
Right.
And then
that's nice.
Yeah, and then he, obviously it was just sitting under a sheet, so he was like, maybe you should take it back. So I was like, so he brought it home from Horsham.
That's because I remember Shane texting me pictures of it, and I was like, oh, cool. Like,
it's sick, that thing.
Yeah, that's cool, man. It's still got all the parts on it.
Yeah.
As it was when you raced
Only thing, they took the titanium bolt kit out of it.
Yeah.
So, but it's the forks, the brakes,
everything else,
engine, the tires, everything. It's sick. It's factory as that.
Because that transition period, like the mid 2010s, I don't even know what you call them. Like, I guess that was the 2010s. I feel old saying that. The bike still had that kind of exotic. Like, now they're pretty much just production bikes with, far out, man. I think Ferris won that year on a stock. Stock pipe. It's not like it used to be where there was still a lot of exotic parts. At least on production-based racing. Obviously, the GPs is on a complete another level.
Yeah.
But, here it's different.
Well, WP don't even make the 52s that I got in that bike now. So
there's probably a good reason for that.
Yeah, got those. And then the shocks, the brakes, they were full factory brakes on it.
I think you needed the rigidity in the suspension back then.
Yeah.
Because the frames were a lot looser.
Yeah, 100%.
When I say longer wheelbase, I know it hasn't changed as far. A bike's a bike, there's millimeters in it, but it just felt like they were so different.
Stable.
So you needed to be rigid at the flex points because the frame was so loose.
But
now it's like everything's so tight and wound in.
You're trying to loosen it up.
You need to loosen the frame up any way you can.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, I don't know. I just could get into it and talk about it all day long, but
I enjoy that. I miss. I don't know. I wish I was still into riding enough, but how hard it is for you to do it with a young family and it's your job. I just don't. And then when I do ride, I get so pissed off because I get arm pump.
Yeah.
And the last year was a tipping point for me because we do a lot of work for Kawasaki Australia with my agency, and I was like, oh, can you just give me a bike? Like, no problem. So I got a bike. They drove it back from one of the rounds for me. And I did 5-6 rides, kind of not got up to vet speed, but then I had this stock bike and I was like, oh, fuck, now I got to do ignition and suspension and pipe and gearing. And I'm like, I'm not into it enough anymore.
Yeah.
But then the thing was scary because I was getting up to speed, but then it was really unpredictable.
Yeah.
And, because all these modern 450s, I think if you ride them I'm not a pro guy anymore, but that base is still there.
Yeah.
And they don't react consistently.
Exactly.
They're all different.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. It's a shame.
Yeah, it is. And it is. And I think that, they're getting better in ways, but then other ways, they're not. They're
better Supercross bikes. I honestly think that's what they are now. That Cowie for me, I was hitting turns on this thing and I'm like, I should not be able to turn a bike like this out of the crate at 37 years old, being out of shape.
Yeah.
The turns are so easy.
Yeah.
But now, remember you never used to be able to turn a 450?
Yeah.
But in a straight line, they were money.
Yeah.
But now I feel like it's the other way around. Like
Yeah,
you can turn them in anything, but trying to get them to go in a straight line is
it's
a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I scratched my head. But anyways, they're not building the bike for me, or they're not building the bike for top level races.
No.
They're building them for dudes that are want to ride every 5th weekend.
And I would anticipate like your bike now, probably not that much different to a production bike. Like as far as, like you said, you're not bolting on 52s anymore. There's maybe there's some tie stuff on there. Most of it's in the electronics and trying to get the suspension grounded, right? And it's not like the suspension is these big, exotic, oversized shock bodies and, double canister.
Yeah. Like the WP stuff we have in our bike, you can buy, obviously.
It's like production, like you can buy it.
Yeah, it's just like an A kit. Like it's not a factory or anything like that. So you can just go out and buy that and then, pipe, tiny bit of headwork, and that's it. Like it's all just trying to get the thing to go up and
in a
down.
straight line.
Basically.
No, for real. So obviously the championship year was, I think, should have been more. Like I said, I noticed the difference with you with the injuries, and I think it killed your momentum. I really do. I want to talk about WA in 16, you and Ferris.
16, yep.
Where he crashed.
Yeah.
Because I'm really hopeful we can find a clip of this.
Yeah.
I remember doing TV, and that was one of the gnarliest. I don't know how gnarly it was on the other side of the jump because we didn't see it.
I reckon it would have.
Did you know he was that close?
No. Yes and no at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, he was putting a clinic on that day, man. He was winning races. Was it the 320s or 315s or whatever it was?
I can't remember the format that year, but
3
that
races.
was the last moto. I know
last
and
moto.
And that was the longer moto.
He had already spanked us. Like he was, come back from Europe.
Yeah, so that was his
sand.
place.
He was riding sick. The thing I don't get is I don't know why he was trying to pass me in the first 100 meters of the race, because
he would have
smoked me.
He made up so much time going into that jump.
Yeah.
I remember I out of all the races I've commentated and broadcast and watched years and years and years, but there's these little things that stand out.
Yeah.
And I just remember him sliding into that up ramp, going probably 20k an hour faster than you, and you were going about as fast as you could go into that jump.
In a straight line. I wasn't sliding. That's why.
And then I just remember him following you.
Yeah.
And then you guys disappeared down the hill.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what happened, and obviously
I just literally went off that jump. I heard someone close and I was like, oh, and it was, Yamaha sound. You're sort of like, okay.
Yeah.
And all I know is like, I got pretty loose as well, landing off the other side. Cause like I was like that. And like you said, he was coming across. So he sort of hit the back end of me and
he
fell.
Sort of turned you sideways.
I was, when I landed, I, shot off.
I think we talked about it. Did we talk to him about that, Adam? Do you remember, Ferris? I think, we could have mashed these two together. Like, like a crime scene report.
But I reckon it would have hurt. So.
Yeah, and they hit the ground hard. I was always curious. I never talked to you about it, is because you're all business at the races. Like,
I try and I mean, you're there to do a job. Like, I know it's fun as well, but I also just trying to do what I need to do, and then
you have to get
out there.
It is a job.
And we don't, I mean, you go and you race your bike, and then, outside of that, I can do whatever and talk to whoever and do whatever. But
it took me a few years to crack you, to be honest. Yeah, it really did. Because you got this really dry sense of humor, and you're quite you're funny. You know what I mean? But like, I kind of had this thing when I came into the Oz scene that just everybody hated me because I'd started doing TV. No one knew who I was. Like, everyone talked shit on me. And I'm not like a victim kind of guy. Like, I get it. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, why is he saying I sucked in this race on TV? Like, what's your career? I get it.
Yeah.
But so my whole deal was like, if people weren't overreaching to talk to me, I kind of didn't reach out. I was just kind of like doing my job. You know what I mean? Like, and it probably made me a good commentator.
You're doing the same.
Yeah. Because it's my job. Like, I don't want to be friends with everybody because, kind of like an ego thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But and you being kind of that way as well. Like, I don't we never really had a lot of conversation, you know.
No.
But then I'd be like, "Hey, Kirk, how's you know this motor or whatever?" But yeah, it wasn't until years later where I actually had some conversation. You're like, "Oh, he's actually like a really funny guy."
Yeah. I mean, like you said, you're there to do a job, and you know it's only one day out of a weekend, and you just you just go and do your job, and after that, talk shit, do what you want.
Yeah, for real. So, you know, 16, you nearly win the championship. Injuries. That's the last year you do Supercross, right? You never did Supercross again after the femur?
No.
I remember that.
Obviously had those two really bad, and they were 5-6 month injuries.
Yeah.
My femur I broke really high, so it took me 9 weeks to walk.
Oh, right. So you want a rod and walk out of the hospital guy? Nah.
So like without crutches or anything like that, it took me 9 weeks. So like,
far out.
So it was a long time. Like I went into the doctor at 6 weeks, and he's like, "Yeah, you should be sweet to walk." And man, I was like,
I can't.
I can't. Like I literally can't. And it took me a long time to rehab from that. And then obviously that probably hindered into 17, and then we had a few bike changes, management changes.
That Cloudy was your teammate, 17?
17.
Because I saw a picture the other day.
Maybe 17 or 18.
17, I think. I saw a picture the other day. Because it's funny, like even I forget that Inside Dirt used to be the program for MX Nationals. Like, because I've had this brand now since Kevin finished up for probably 6-7 years. I forget how long it's been. And someone sent me like all the covers the other day of the magazine, and I was like, "Holy shit, this used to be a magazine." And Cloudy was on there on a KDM. I'm like, "Holy shit, Cloudy wrote a KDM!" Like I didn't even remember. I
think he did ride at 17, and then I think he
went to America.
Yeah, I don't think he was there 18, maybe.
But I don't don't take this the wrong way. 17 was the year Ferris perfect seasoned. Was that?
Yeah, bar one round.
Bar one.
He won. I'm pretty sure I won. He won every round bar one. That was Shepparton.
You were the spoiler.
Shepparton. I think he would have, but he crashed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Shepparton, I got him.
I was gonna say I don't take this wrong. I don't remember anything about 17 with your season, but now you say
it was. I mean, I was second. Like I was the second.
Oh, you know why? That's the year of my race team. I wasn't doing TV.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out how to not go bankrupt. So that's why I wasn't looking at you guys.
Yeah. But yeah, he definitely like straight up smoked us. But yeah, I was still second in the championship. But then 18, and then same thing. Didn't enjoy the bike and had a lot of crashes. I slipped a disc in my back that year, and
right.
Conondale didn't go well. I went to hospital that day, and then Raymond Terrace. I don't know if you remember, I whole shotted that motor and ran off the track.
Oh, you had a big one.
Big one there, knocked myself out.
And that was a very fast first turn.
Yeah, so my whole shot button, they tidied the first turn, but not like just as you get around the first turn.
Yeah.
And because I come from so wide and was so pinned, my button was still in because I didn't brake, and I hit this bump and it deflected and shot me off the track.
Because you hit the tyre, didn't you?
Yeah, and then
you went over the front.
And then just out front. So
18.
So that was the end of my 18.
I remember screaming. I remember now. I was like, "Oh my God, Gibbsy's down." Yeah.
So that was the end of my 18.
That was the okay.
Yeah.
And then, so chronologically, around this time, you went and did USGP. What year was that?
Oh, sorry, that was 15.
Oh, was that back in 15?
I think so. Yeah, I went straight from, because it was my deal. If I won the championship, I got to go do that race.
Yeah, rad.
So
and that was Glen Helen 15.
Glen Helen, yeah. 15.
How was that experience?
Loose. It was very, very hot, and if people have been to Glen Helen, they know it's definitely an eye opener, that track. The hills
and that you can stress enough. Like I've never been so in awe, but simultaneously horrified of like, I'm finally at Glen Helen. And you go out and you're like, oh my God, this is not what I thought.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
This ground is like so hard and sketchy.
Yeah.
And I'm
unpredictable. Just, you're like, oh yeah, I can get on the throttle here. Next minute you're facing backwards. Like you just, it's crazy. And then like I said off the air before, they built this like full Supercross section, man. It was loose as. I could barely even get through it.
Yeah, I remember it being rutted out. And that's when like Hurlings and Tomac and that were battling. No, Hurlings was on 250 back then.
Yeah, it was Josh Grant won.
That's
McCowie.
Yeah.
And Cooper Webb was riding sick. He just got on a 450.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
How did you do? Where did you end up?
Oh, man. So the Wednesday before that, I was testing at Kahia Creek.
Yeah.
And
another track that just strange dirt.
Yeah. Anyway, for some reason, I think the bike cut out. Still to this day, we don't know. But I had there was a tabletop that went down the very big hill towards where you drive up.
Yeah.
Straight over the front.
Oh, on that hill.
On that hill.
Oh, that's a
KO'd
hill.
myself, like thinking I'm not even going to race. Anyway, I was riding with Millsaps then because they were riding on their bike, and he sends me to Doc G. Right. Anyway, I'm in Doc G. Anyway, he gets me good enough to ride. My shoulders all jacked up.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So, but I struggled. Like I said, I was doing third gear starts in 15, 16. Really enjoyed my bike. Went over there, didn't enjoy the bike. And it was not the same.
American spec bike would have been so rigid, hey.
And it was like it's all built to rev, like
opposite of what you were good at.
Because Baggett was on there, and he was just. They were telling me that he rode the whole Redbud track in second gear. Back then,
he used to ride that 450 like a pro circuit 250 Cowie, just on the limiter,
just crazy. Anyways, and then Rob T was there with me, and he was blowing gasket at me because he's like, you should be doing third gear starts. I'm like, bro, I'm going to stall this thing. Yeah. Like, it's not going to pull third. And he didn't believe me. He was just like blowing up at me. Anyway,
he's a legend, eh?
Yeah. I love Rob T. Yeah.
Is he still a KDM?
Yep. Still doing it.
I saw him at Appen for the first time in years. I was like, holy shit, it's Rob T. Like, he's such an OG.
Yeah.
So results weren't any good.
No, so I was riding pretty good in the first moto. I think I got up to 10th or 11th.
Okay.
I was battling with Tommy Searle, then crashed, and then it was like 20 minutes in and I was cooked, man. So I was like, fuck, I'm going to pull in and save myself for the second moto. And then I think I got 14th or something in the second
Considering
moto.
that's pretty much like the best Americans and the GP guys. Like, that's not bad, man.
I probably gained a few positions because, man, like 10 dudes probably pulled out because they nearly died from heat exhaustion. It was that hot. Like, it was loose.
Yeah, was it like September or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. It was like, seriously, it's probably the hottest race I've ever done.
And then your other internationals, so you did MXON in what years?
17, 18.
17, 18.
Yeah.
And kind of didn't luck out. You know, it was before the Lawrence brothers ascension and Team Australia wasn't what it is now.
Yeah. I mean, it's in saying that, you go with a team, like you said, like if you don't have the Lawrences, we're a pretty small country, man, and we're not killing it. You know what I mean? Like, we're not on that world stage level. We were still P4 both years we went, I'm pretty sure. Like, overall, like that's incredible. I mean, a lot of people are like, you know, I felt like they were very disappointed when in the first 2 years, or the 2 years that I went, but yeah, in saying that, it's
who was
like,
the team that year? The teams.
The first year was me, Dean, and Hunter.
Yeah.
And it was Madley Basin.
Yeah.
Dude, I went P3 or 4 in my quali race. I rode
Madley would have suited you, man.
MX3.
Like long hills.
Yeah.
Long ruts.
MX3. I rode MX3 that year. Yeah. So obviously not quite as deep, but I think I got third in quali race. They didn't even know who I was. Like, well, I was under the Factory Cato tent because Rob T got me in.
Right.
And they were just like,
who are you?
Who are you? I was in the middle of this like pit box with Hurlings, Parado, and Goldenhoff. And they're all just like looking at me, man. Like,
this guy. Yeah.
Dude, who is this kid? And then I get P3 in the quality race or 4 or whatever it was. And they was like, dude, you could ride, man. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like,
national champion. Like,
they're like, no, they're like, you can actually ride. And even like Hurlings is like, oh man, you can actually go ride, eh? Like,
that's such a Kirk Gibbs under the radar like experience.
Oh, dude.
So did you never have offers after that to go there? No one shopped you around?
No, nah. I reached out to a few people and I like talked to like Standing Construct and stuff like that, potentially to go there, but
just never. Did you have a desire to go? Would you have gone?
At stages, yes, definitely. But I don't know. I just feel like I was late miss those boats, miss those. I don't know, miss those miss those times, you know, where I probably should have or could have went and didn't.
I don't know, man. Like I'm the old industry guy now, in like my late 30s. But it's like there's such a recycling in this sport of young talent, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like, you know now, like you're the old guy that just keeps returning with the factory ride, but you can still be on the podium, right? Because you've done that years, right?
Yeah.
But like the amount of careers that I've seen it derail just in my 15 years in Australia, where Luke Stike went, Caleb Ward went, Aidan Malkowitz went. I mean, dude, how many more could you name that I haven't, right? Like, and you go, you know, I'm from Europe. Like you talk about racing Tommy Sell. That's like you and Todd. Like Tommy and I growing up, we were in the same age group. Like I'd go up the year before him and he'd come up the year after. And we raced all the way up until we were in pros. But like, they don't know that if you don't bring money to the team in Europe, there's no ride. Like people don't know that, or they don't know that, okay, you're going to go ride for a B GP team. And they're like, here's your practice bike. Here's your €50,000. See you in China. Like people don't know like the dirty little GP business model that it's completely different. And I say to people, I'm like, if you're going to go, you better time it right. Make sure you're with the right program. I mean, you and I know riders that have given money to teams over there and the teams have disappeared with their money. Like forget not doing well. And you go like, so for you, your career, you 15-year, 20-year pro, you've made a good living. You know, you've built businesses off the back of your racing. You know, you probably have investments from your championship years. I'd like to talk a little bit of that. Don't want to see bank statement, but we'll talk about how that worked out for you, because it does intrigue me where everyone's like, there's no fucking money in Australia and you go overseas. Like I disagree. I think that the money now isn't what it used to be, but I still feel that I think people overlook that like racing a motorcycle is not a conventional business.
Massively.
So you need to make smart decisions is where you make your money if you're going to do it as a career, right? So I've been a bit advocate for like, everyone's like, I want to go to Europe. Like, who are you talking to? Oh, you know, Bob in Slovenia. Like, I don't know about that. Like,
dude.
Anyway, but yeah, I think, could you have gone and done well over there? Like, of course you could. I reckon you could have been just like Dean or Todd and very competitive in MX1. But would your career look like it does now?
Definitely. And like you said, it's like getting the right bike and people around you. Like Todd went to factory Husky. Dean, obviously, he went through a few things, but obviously when he went to Dixon, that was a sick bike. You know what I mean? Like once you've got to have the right people, you know, whether it's only one or two different people you have with you, but you need to take someone with you. You can't probably do it solo. Like it's super hard. And then obviously you got to have a good bike. Like a lot of people, like you said, Caleb Ward, dudes like that have gone over there and rode for those teams that are just, they're not, man, you don't even know if you're going to show up and have a bike, or like you don't even know if it's like, it could be a Husky but it's got a Cowie engine in it. Man, you wouldn't even know. Like they're just, it's dodgy over there.
It's the Wild West over there.
Right.
You got the factory team and you got like some of the B teams are legit. But like the Italians and like it's a
dodgy,
different world, man. And you're in their backyard too. Like, you know, there's so many French guys and that you've never heard. Like you, like who's Kirk Gibbs in Europe? But like you go, I remember racing in, you know, you go do these, you know, before there was the EMX 250, like they had these non-championship GP events, which is basically like a weird word for international, you know, and we'd get start money to go to France and whatever. But these French dudes were just on another level and they weren't doing GPs. They were just French guys. It's so fast. And it's like, how do you compete with that so far from home? You know, so I get why you're saying it wasn't the right, you know, you need it, but it's good that you were smart enough to identify that too.
Like I said, there was times that I wanted to go, but obviously it just never happened. So it was, for me, I was pretty content with trying to stay. So.
And be a guy here, right? There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, look at, you know, same as Kyle Webster. He's a bit of a late bloomer. And unfortunately his time's probably nearly past, you know. He's like, what, 29?
Yeah, he's not going to get a 250 stepping ride.
No.
And it's like, unfortunately, what he did in America was epic.
Yeah.
But no one's going to sign him off the back of that.
No.
Because
And there's
there's no
such
Supercross.
there's such a Supercross base. And like you said, he's 29, so he's better off to stay here for the next 3 or 4 years and try and, win some more titles.
Adam will be remiss if we didn't talk about your New Zealand championships. So what years were they?
I did a lot of racing in New Zealand. So 13, 14, 15, 18, 19 and 20.
Yeah, right. And what years did you get the crown?
18 and 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you definitely did. I mean, that's the thing. NZ's so legit. Like, who are you battling with the years over there?
Oh, Coops.
The entire time.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So my first year, 13, obviously, like I said, I struggled. So, man, pretty sure Darryl Hurley blew my doors off and he was retired.
Dude, I've got a funny segue here, right? Like, so first, didn't ride for years when I moved here. And then first MX National I did 2012, Conondale. So like natural terrain Europe track and natural terrain Aussie track, like completely fucking different, right? Anyway, that was back in the day when you like had to qualify, when there was a lot of entries. And I rode so bad in qualifying. I remember I was in the 30s. I was like, this is a really bad idea. Anyway, I'm sitting in the fucking holding pen, right? Before Moto 1. And you got Shane and Daryl King, right? Obviously, Shane retired years ago. And there's this dude sitting opposite me with no hair. And he's like 50 years old. And he's qualified like 10 positions ahead of me. And I'm like, what does my life come to?
Yeah.
But I didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Anyway, we ride to the line. And I'm like, oh my God, that's Daryl King.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I feel a bit better now. He's legit.
Yeah.
But those old school New Zealand guys on those style tracks, like they're still fast.
Man, it's unless you've been over there, you don't know. Like those guys rip over there, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's what I mean. Like I rode, like how many years did I do before I won a championship over there? Because it's so gnarly. Like you go there and it's just like they just know all the track. There's only a certain amount of tracks that they race, so they ride them all the time, and they're just so good at them. And the dirt's so different compared to Oz. So it's like you go over there and you just think you're going to do well, and you just end up on your head.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different, like that volcanic ash kind of weird.
Pumice?
Is that what it is? Pumice? Yeah. Whenever I see videos of that one track, there's that straight where it's like the volcanic
sawdust, man.
Yeah, and it's just like air pockets and
Taupo.
That's Taupo. That's right. I've
savage, man. It's savage.
So was that built into your contracts with KDM here, or was it independent KDM here?
Yeah, most of them were. So yeah, all the first ones definitely. 2018 was still a part of the KDM here, but not so much, if you know what I mean. Like it was a deal because they tied it in, but it wasn't so much just like, oh, we'll take our bikes over and everything like that.
Like
the
KDM and NZ were kind of
they facilitated
was that
it.
The
and
CML team or whatever?
So the first 3 years, they helped us out, but then, but it was all off the back of, we brought all our own bikes, all our own stuff with Rob T. So 13, 14, 15, and then 18 was off the back of them.
Financially viable to do it? Like,
don't know, man. There was no budget in 13, 14.
Yeah.
Like Rob T was just slapping card, bro. It was like just loose, man. It was like, I've never been a part of something like that before.
Yeah, right.
Like 13 and 14 was, even 15 was like.
I guess they were still selling a lot of motorcycles back then. Like it was a whole different.
And it would just come back in. There was no, at that point they were doing a big push, like even KDM worldwide. There was a big push. There was no, like then AMG owned KDM here at that point in time, but there was no someone looking over the budget and all that sort of stuff. So it was
there was
like
no CFOs or anything like that.
It was just like go hard.
Yeah, make it happen.
And that's
win some races.
That's what they did.
But it worked, man. Like I remember back in the day, like when I did all my coaching business, 90% of the bikes that would come to our events were not even mini bike KDMs,
Yeah,
big bike KDMs.
Yeah.
Like that 12, 13, 14, 15, everyone was on KDM.
Yeah.
So your championship years, like how different was the money back then to what you're signing on for now? Like, so you don't give me figures, but like,
I mean, it's hard because
you were the guy
I'm
back then.
and I'm motocross only. So
Right.
to
You
now
wouldn't have been
it's
back then though, right?
no. So I was, you know, I so it was all performance based.
Yeah.
So
Bonus heavy.
the first year I went Cato, I got 50 to sign on for.
Yeah.
So like I was stoked. Like
Yeah,
obviously
as a
coming
number
off
2 guy, I guess. Right?
definitely, and
Yeah.
I'd been off an injury and stuff like that. So I,
Yeah,
you know,
take
I
50
was
for sure.
happy. And
Yeah.
then, you know, top 3 was, I think if I went top 5, and it was only in motocross, it didn't have to be in supercross.
Right. Okay.
So if I went top 3, I got 80 the next year, and then if I went top 5, I got 80 next year. Top 3 was 100, and then if I won,
Ascension model for,
and then if I had won a championship, I got 120.
right.
So that's basically how it went.
Yeah. Okay.
And then obviously from 16, because I went motocross only, half,
yeah. Right.
get half of that. So whatever I was coming in the championship, I'd just get half of that.
Yeah. Okay.
So
And championship bonus, race bonus would pad that out.
yeah, so championship was back then was 50.
Yeah.
So and then I had to buy. I brought my championship bike, which cost me 10.
So good. eh?
But you don't even care at that point.
Yeah,
like
that point
you're like,
yeah.
yeah, I just made 50 grand.
Yeah, I feel like when you talk to like Milner and those guys of the same era that were winning for Yamaha,
Yeah.
and like crushing it with off-road, because like
Yeah.
he was the highest paid guy for a long time in Australian moto across the board, I believe. I thought your deals would have been a little bit more lucrative than that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think just before that, I think Todd got paid a little bit better than that. The first year of Cato.
Yeah.
But then it's sort of come down a little bit, and now I think it's come down a little bit over the years,
It has, yeah.
and now I think it's at a point where it's starting to come back.
Yeah. Yeah, it dropped a
So,
lot, and I
yeah.
feel like it's starting to, increase where
Yep.
yeah, everyone sort of knows where the guys are signing on at the
Yep.
the top end of motocross, supercross sign on.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Like you look at what they are, like it's high, low 6 figures basically. Like that's that kind of sign on area for the elite guys.
I mean, but if you're winning,
If
you
you're
know what I
winning,
mean?
it's
If you're
really
winning,
good. Like-
man, the year I won the championship, I made like 250 grand.
yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. Typically for an Aussie guy, even now, they're making around that, maybe a little
Yeah.
bit more, right?
That's what I mean. So, and I didn't even make supercross. So
Yeah.
that's just motocross only, or basically, I signed on for supercross, but I just didn't make it.
Yeah, I mean, look, $250,000. I guess it's contextualized, right? Where you go, it's pretty damn good to make that kind of money, but then you go, and I'm always a proponent of this, where I'm like, yeah, but you're racing a motorcycle in a domestic championship to make that kind of money is really good, but at the same time, you're an elite level athlete. But then, how many athletes in Australia that go to the Olympics and they work full time jobs?
Yeah.
So it's like,
And also, you got to think about, the days I rode for Serco, I was signing on for 20 or 30 grand.
yeah,
And I was lucky to make, some years I might have made 30 or 40 grand, and then some years I might have made 80 grand. So when you think about it, it sort of evens out to a pretty, like, just a level paying.
Normal job.
Depends. Like, it's not like if you're crushing it every year for 10
years.
years, it's sweet. But if you're just, like me, I sort of went up and then now, back down.
Yeah, if
it's
you
like
averaged
I'm
out 20
a bit
years
of
of
a,
earnings,
I might be on like 50 or 60 grand for the whole time.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not crushing it the whole time. So
Yeah, it's like you said, you get the cash flow when you're doing well, but then
Yep.
you have to run your own program,
Yep.
run your training, run everything, right? Like
yeah, 100%. Like, yeah, you're paying, you still pay for, you just
fuel,
get
tracks,
yeah, fuel,
trainers,
yep,
whatever.
all that. So there's still, probably 15 grand of your own money's coming out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, but it's the same as any business, right? Some
Yeah,
years you just
100%.
break even. Like
Yep.
you're a sole trader, you're
Yep.
not, or a company. I don't know how you structure yourself, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you're not on KDM's pay slips.
No.
gotta run
You're
your own
sending that
deal.
invoice in every month.
Yeah, hope it clears, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, what year did you leave KTM? Was it at the end of 18?
Yeah.
I think it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I couldn't remember that either. Because, like I said, I've been to so many races now, it's all a blur.
Yeah.
Who did you ride for in 19?
Dakar.
Was it CDR 19?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I thought that
Dean
was only the
left.
COVID year.
When Dean left, I went to Dakar.
That's right.
Yeah.
That year wasn't.
I didn't crush it. Well, I mean, I did okay, but I struggled a little bit with the bike. Just such a big change from what I'd used to. You know, a bit more light switchy.
Yeah, because they're
bit heavy,
crack, yeah.
pretty front end heavy. I'd been on a bike that's choppered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It took me a little bit to get going on that thing.
Yeah, you look at a complete opposite. Your KTM, like you said, low in the rear, braked out in the front. Then you go to a bike that's all heavy on the front, high in the rear.
Yep.
It's completely
And
different.
they'd given me Dylan Long's bike set up from the year prior, and he runs super soft, man.
Yeah.
And I was someone who doesn't run that soft a setup.
You know what? Actually, this is a complete segue. Sorry to interrupt. Yamaha Media Launch 2019. I don't know how I forgot this. I got photos of me riding your bike when they launched the new 450 at Park 4MX.
Yep.
And you're right, you don't run a soft bike.
No.
Because I rode your motorbike, your outdoor bike.
Yeah.
They had it there for the media to ride.
At the end of that year?
Yep.
Yeah, because it took me that whole year to get to that point.
Yeah.
But because they just wanted to make small changes. So it took that whole year to get to that point.
Straight up, you had them Dunlops on. I'm pretty sure they were the factory Dunlops.
Yeah.
And I'm going to find photos. We could probably make a clip out of this, Adam. And I got some sick photos of me riding your bike. And like I said, I'm not fast anymore, but I can still go all right for a few laps. And that's one of the best I've ever felt on a bike.
Yeah.
But I came in, they were like, how was it? I'm like, dude, fucking sick. Flat landed everything, scrubbed everything. It tracked amazing. But I was like, I did 2 laps and it was so rigid.
Yeah.
I was going so much faster than like my bike.
Yeah.
But I was done.
Yeah.
I was like, the intensity you can carry on this thing. Like I was just, Park 4's got all those really flowing on the pegs turns.
Yeah.
And I was like, this thing just sticks, but I was carrying so much rolling speed because that's how you ride.
Yeah.
And I've only just put that together now. But that took you the whole season to get that bike there.
Yeah. So then obviously come into 20 and I went over the year prior I'd raced New Zealand as well for Josh Coppins.
Right.
That tied in with Dakar. And then I went back over again in 2020 and started clicking. Like I felt like I was starting to come really good on that bike.
Yeah.
And first round I got beaten, but then from there on I started like really clicking off wins and stuff over there and won the championship.
Yep.
And then COVID hit. So I literally came home
from 2020 NZ as the champion.
Yeah.
And then the world stopped.
World stops. And then, they're like, oh, we may still race and stuff like that. So I'm still going out and training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then it all goes to nothing. And then because I don't race Supercross, Dakar's gotten rid of me because he would have had, he normally got Josh Hill in to ride my bike for Supercross, and because COVID obviously couldn't do that. So he needed,
so that was the reason those years anyway, right?
No, but that was the whole reason
that you left.
So the prior year, he
could make that work because it was motocross only you, Supercross only Josh Hill.
Yeah, but because he couldn't import anyone, he needed someone here to do both. So then Luke was in America, Cloudy, and was riding for Urive.
So that's why they brought him.
Yeah,
I always wondered why you ended up with Urive in 21.
So me and Cloudy swapped.
You did.
Basically, he was an American deal, but then, then I went to.
That's right. I forgot. I don't know. That's what I'm saying, man. That we do enough of this stuff, you forget. Like I rode your CDR bike in 19. I'm like, where did you ride that year?
Yeah.
Anyway, so the COVID year, nothing. We didn't race at all. So segue to real world. When do you open up your business here? What's it called? Sorry, TLC, your recovery center, right? When does that
end of 19?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we moved from the Goldie, sell my house on the Goldie, move here, and
because you've been with Jess a long time as well, right?
Yeah. So pretty much when I got on KTM, we started seeing each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been together a fair while now, 12 years, whatever
12,
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess, is it at that point you're like, all right, I'm not doing Supercross anymore. I need to set myself up with something.
It was more her.
More
she, what are you going to do after racing? You know, because it's getting to a point where 29 years old, I'm nearly 30.
Yeah.
She's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm like, oh shit, I don't know.
I mean, ironically, you're still going now. But
yeah, 100%. But who would have thought? Like, you know what I mean?
That wouldn't have been on the career. That wouldn't have been on the career card, right?
No, I wasn't. You know, I was like, I don't know how long I'm going to race for. You know, like it could be next year or it could be now 6 years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just it got to that point, and then obviously I'd learnt a lot off Gooley and stuff through recovery and ice bathing and stuff. Years and years and years prior.
Yeah.
So,
it must have been a passion of yours because you don't just open a business without having knowledge of it. Right?
Yeah. So yeah, we obviously did a lot of research with that stuff, and then when we moved here, we looked up, and at that point there was no one here. So we just looked around and started looking into the business, and yeah, massive eye opener.
yeah, the real world's different.
And then so it took us like
real world business is a whole different deal.
Oh, dude. And then the whole 4 months of off season basically to get it open.
Yeah.
And then 2020 COVID hits. So we're open for I think 7 weeks and then
had to close
for 2.5 months.
I think yourself lucky you're up here though, man. Like I don't say that but we were in Victoria and it was horrendous.
Definitely.
So a rough start to launching the business, but and then 21, so the way I picture it, then you go, right, I'm motocross only. I can run this because once your business is up and running, outside looking in, obviously no business is low maintenance. There's always something to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can staff it. You don't need to be there every day.
Yeah.
As long as you're paying the bills and it's generating revenue, like you can still focus on riding, right?
Yeah.
So then you go to your Eve in 21 at Honda. Yep. And then that was the year we did 3 rounds, was it?
Yep.
Yep, that was. And then I know you were with the Recoverate brand that we were doing some marketing work with Kevy back then. And I remember but not really. I don't remember your results.
Yeah, so I think round one
of you, that was the
it was like
round
7-4. Yeah, or something like that, I think. And then round 2 was Canberra, was it?
No, that was round 3. Round 2 was Canberra was a lot. No,
Maitland.
Sorry, Canberra was round 2. You're right.
Yeah.
Maitland was the last round, round 3.
I did pretty average in the first race. I was just talking about it with Cloudy because I gave him a nudge in that last moto and won the last one because he won the first 2. That was when they
were doing the split format.
That's right. And he had the DNF thing and then, waxed everyone from there on out and won.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I did average in the first round. I can't remember. And then did okay in the next one. And then the last moto we did, I had a massive battle with Cloudy. I whole shot it and then.
Oh, you guys were going at it.
Yeah.
Is that when he knocked you off the track?
I knocked him off the track.
You did. You put him in the drainage.
Yeah, he passed me.
Yeah.
And then like 2 turns later, I just ran it in.
Yeah, I remember.
Hit him.
That was a good move.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise he was going to walk away with it.
Yeah.
So,
but you got that side to you, man. I've seen you do some aggressive moves over the years.
Yeah. I
like own it.
Not full intentional all the time, but when I do hit people, I hit them pretty decent. Yeah.
Because you got this calm demeanor and but I've seen you got another side to you.
Yeah.
I've seen it enough over the years. Like I've had to put a camera in your face and interview you a few times where the helmet's come off and I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. It takes me a little bit to get wound up, but if I get wound up, it's there. Yeah. Because I was just talking to him because obviously he's on the FD crew and there was this one spot, man, I was going wide up the top at Canberra and he was going down the inside and all I could hear was him every lap, man. I thought he was going to smoke me every lap. And I was like, oh, man, please don't. And then when he passed me, I was like, oh, shit. And then I seen he got like, I don't know, he got a little bit. And I was like, I'm on.
It's my spot.
And so then, so that was, so I did okay there,
Yeah.
and then it went to Maitland, and then I think I went 2-3-1 at Maitland and got second overall.
That's right. Yeah.
And I got fourth for the championship. I missed out by.
Yeah. And then, like, again, at this point, I'm doing rider contracts. I'm trying, and like, people are just like getting everything cut. Like, there's clauses in contracts. It just says like force majeure, season's done, you don't get paid. And like, you know, guys, are, you know, like not everybody, but people that I work with are just like, what the fuck do I do? Like, where did that affect you a lot?
So from there, basically, we did like a few little races.
Because you could still race up here,
Should
right?
still race up here.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, we were doing races, and like took me all that year, same thing, to get the bike dialed in, because it
was so different.
Just such big changes for me, you know, like, and I'd just been so used to one bike. So yeah, I get on the Honda, and it takes me all year to get that sorted, and I finally feel like I'm getting it sorted. And then, just.
So do you go back to KTM in 22?
I do. So,
right, okay. But
this is where Ferris retired and come back and rode for Honda.
That's right.
So Urive didn't tell me, but he had already signed.
So were you expecting to stay at Honda?
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping to stay.
Right.
Because like you said, I took that whole year to get that bike ready.
So you didn't want to leave it?
I didn't. I was really happy with what I was on.
Right.
And then it just all falls apart again. And then the whole thing, like obviously unfortunate that Regan gets hurt, and then
that's right,
it gives me an opening to go there. So
it's KTM, yeah.
And you know, once it got to that spot, I went back. So
did it feel like going home, sort of thing?
It did, but then same thing. I was hoping for something
that wasn't there anymore with the bike.
Yeah.
Like you think you're going back to
a little bit. I was like, yeah, like this is going to be amazing, and same. I just had a rough time getting it back to where I needed it to be.
Yeah.
So 22 was tough, and then they bring out a whole brand new bike in 23, and then no parts for it. So I pretty much ride that thing stock, struggle, and then they push me across to gas, and then I find then. Takes me a bit, but I get that bike dialed in.
The gas was a little more like the older KTMs, right? Like slightly. Like some of the componentry and swing arm and different things, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Not really?
Some things, yeah. But I don't know. I just got to a point where I got that bike pretty good.
Yeah.
And then towards the tail end of that season, I got it good. And I was like, oh, it's going to be an easy transition into this year.
What were the years? Because I'm trying to remember, like, I felt like every one of those years we just talked about, like post-COVID, like, so what would that be, 22, 23, like you would win a moto or you would be, it seemed like you had this run of like your thumb injury, your ankle injury, like all these, they weren't season enders or you'd go get a quick surgery. I forget what it all was, but I distinctly remember you'd get 3-4 rounds in, get up to speed, and it was like, holy shit, Gibbsy's back.
Yeah.
And you would be right there and battling with those guys and win a moto. Then you'd crash your moto 2 and get your collarbone plated. Am I right? Like,
yeah. So 22, I just started feeling like I was getting good.
Mm-hmm.
And then at Maitland.
That's right. 22 Maitland. Yep.
I come through, mowed them all down, started pulling away, and then went over that roller before that little.
That's right.
And they dug a gully to let water out.
Yeah.
And I over jumped and landed like, and because I run my forks pretty stiff, it blew my hand off and ripped my thumb back, and I did my UCL.
That's right.
Like, like Coops and all them have been doing, you know. So then I had to go and get surgery straight away, and then I raced 2 weeks later.
You did. I remember. Because I guess for you, right, you're going, well, I'm motocross only.
I need to finish.
If I drop out, that's my year
100%. Done. Yeah. And then started 22 3 weeks before round 1, and I was practicing a track, slid out, and there was like a tree, not massively, but slid out, and I was heading straight for it. And as I turned away from it, it crushed my foot between the foot peg and the tree, and just blew my foot apart. Like, split all the bottom of my foot, broke the outside of my foot. So like, I just had all these like little, and then because I'm not the bike, and it's just been an ongoing.
But you were like still super competitive, like
but it's frustrated the absolute shit out of me because I'm like, give me a bike that I'm happy with, and like I still, for me in my mind, I still feel like I can win, but it's all these little things. I need everything to be back in that 2015, 16, where I'm like, very confident and very happy with my bike. You know, it's just I haven't been there. I haven't had it since, like literally since those years. Like
I guess you've had it better than most.
Yeah, 100%.
But at the same time, there's still so much like you've left on the table. Do you look at that? You, like 100%. Your career now, like not that I'm fishing for an exclusive here, but it's been the last year for a lot of years. Well, that's been the word. You've never said that. Yeah. But like, do you look back and go, I'm content with it? Or do you look back and go, oh man, I left a lot. I could have won more. I could have done this.
I'm content because of what I had.
Right.
But like I said, in my mind, I'm like, do I retire? Whether I do or not, do I retire and still feel like I left it on the table because I feel like I can still win?
Yeah.
But it's I
guess like the reality, I don't say this to blow smoke. Like before now, with Jed and Kyle going, I feel definitely, could you run with those guys now? Like, yeah, I think you can and could, but it's like at your age, is that reasonable to?
I feel like it's a lot harder for me now. Yeah, definitely. Do I feel like I could beat them guys straight up, even if I had a bike that I liked? Probably not.
Yeah.
Like it's a massive gap.
And it's not you can't even be talking down on yourself or.
No, I still feel like I'm riding, even though I'm still riding really well.
Yeah.
But if I feel like I had a bike, I feel like I could bridge the gap, but I still don't think I could straight up beat him. No way.
The way I look at it is this, right? I go, okay, when you were at the elite level here, you were on the world level.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is if you'd have gone America or here on the right bike, you're a top 10, top 5 guy. No problem, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's where Kyle and Jed are at now.
100%.
So like you guys are all at the elite Aussie level still because you're still podium guy. You're still top 5 guy.
Yeah.
That has never changed.
Yeah.
But you at 37, 36 years old are probably not going to be on the world level anymore.
No. 100%.
And that's nothing and look wrong with that.
You know, Jed's come home from Europe. He'd won GPs.
Yeah.
Kyle just come back from Nations on a 250F and just tore it up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they are at a level.
They're at the world level. They're just racing here.
100%. Yeah. Like if anything, they should be over there and they should be, you know, between 10th and 5th in the MXGP class.
They should, yeah.
I think that's their speed where they're at, you know, and that field's ridiculous. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I think they are riding awesome.
Yeah, they are. That's what, it's their time.
Yeah,
they're at the peak of their career, just like you were 10 years ago.
That's what I said. I was talking to, you know,
because you're tight with all those guys.
Yeah,
right?
Like, I was talking to MICHELIN and Kyle's dad actually the other day. I seen him at the pub, and I was like, you know, that was me. What Kyle was doing now that was me 10 years ago.
Yeah, he was at MXD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was big dick swinging, bro. I was big dick swinging. And when you do that, you got confidence, man, and it just oozes off you. You know what I mean?
Like you know both these guys. So this is with Terrelgan coming up this weekend. Like my take, I like Jed. I like Kyle. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't do business with any of the teams. Like I'm completely abstract.
Yeah.
But this is a podcast, so we're going to talk, right? I think Jed is far better rider than Kyle. But I feel that Kyle is more strong mentally. What's your take? I know you're friends with everyone, so I don't want to put you on the spot. But like, that's no disrespect to any of them.
Yeah.
But like, I see Jed do on a bike.
Yeah. I'm
like, he is incredible.
Yeah.
Kyle is incredible.
Yeah.
But Kyle's got legs like tree trunks.
Yeah.
And he works hard.
Yeah.
He's 4'5", and like he is not afraid to send it.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
I feel like Jed is amazing and super good and calculated, where Webb just goes like this.
Yeah, switches it off. Yeah, yeah.
And goes like this.
Yeah.
But
he's got the skills to match it.
But the thing is, like, he didn't back in the day.
No, he didn't.
But he's like, his eyes and stuff like that used to be up here.
Yeah.
And his riding ability used to be down there.
Yeah,
now he's matched it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's so they're both, and don't get me wrong, I love watching both of them, and especially with Kyle trying to catch up now. It's sick because it's it's such a dogfight between both of them, and it's good to see. I want to see where it goes. You know,
Well, I do too, because that's like when I'm like, obviously Webby just explodes himself off the bike at one.
Yeah,
and it's like so lucky he didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
He's just he's so strong.
yeah,
And so good at hitting the ground. Like I hate to say it, right? He bounces well.
Yeah.
And you go, all right, well, again, being real, you on the best day this season, yeah, you're third overall. Maybe you take a moto position away from those guys, but they're going to go 1 and 2 from here on out. Maybe NATO will take a moto, but the overalls, like short of Jed doing a moto or something unforeseen happening.
That's what I mean. Like even at the moment, like something's, you know, like Kyle's got a crash or Jed's got a crash or something like. For someone to beat them outright, straight up,
yeah,
something
it has to be unforeseen.
Something has to happen, man. Because those two dudes are on another level, and then you know there's like, you know, NATO's maybe a little step or whatever.
Like NATO
but
and Cloudy are there.
Cloudy's riding really well.
Like I think Cloudy is better than NATO for the most part, but NATO has those 2 rides a year where he probably bridges. Both NATO and Cloudy can run their speed.
Yeah,
but it's just not. You know, obviously Supercross Cloudy's completely, you know, skill set.
Yeah.
Gnarly. And like I said, I see it in depth because we do all Cowie's content. So I watch it every weekend and I see where he's at. But it's like, yeah, realistically, it's like, okay, I looked at the points yesterday and I'm like 13 back. And I'm like, from a DNF and Moto 1, like realistically, if he wins the next 2 rounds,
he's back.
with 3 rounds to go, he's back in it. And it's like, I haven't seen Jed answer him yet in the sense of like they're neck and neck every moto.
Yeah.
But I just feel that Webby has that. And I may be wrong, but I just feel that Webby is willing to take it somewhere Jed isn't. I don't know.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, you know, maybe it's that 1% that Webb's willing to hang it out that's giving him them moto wins where Jed's that 1% reserved to keep in that zone, you know, to stay on, because he's, you know, you don't ever see him.
He doesn't have big ones, does he?
When have you ever seen him since he's come home? He hasn't He
hasn't missed injury. Like realistically, the Honda year, that bike was not suited to Jed.
He didn't like it.
He hated
it. Was
it.
Just,
It's just, you know, off the record, it just wasn't for him.
Yeah.
So you go, all right, we'll scratch that one. But he was top 5 guy, top 3 guy, solid. But you know,
but now he's there. Like and he doesn't make mistakes. Like, you know, may, you know, do a little mistake, but he doesn't crash or he doesn't.
And maybe that's the evolution for him, is going to that uncomfortable place. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Who do you think gets it this year?
Oh, dude.
We're not going to hold you to it. It's only recorded and on video.
I know. But it's, I don't know.
I'll go first.
Actually,
I think Webby gets it. I'll go first.
Yeah. I mean, truly, dude, I think it's going to be who can stay on. Yeah. If Webb can stay on, I think he gets it. If he has a few little crashes or something.
Well, that's the problem, right? He can't scratch one race, qualifying.
That's what I mean.
He can't scratch. Like Jed can still scratch a moto and be in it.
Yeah.
Webby can't.
Yeah.
One more. Like it's like the Cooper Webb Sexton thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like Sexton, by all rights, should have, in my mind, won out and won that championship.
Yeah.
But he had one. He couldn't do one bad, and he did.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting.
Very. It's going to be good to watch. So
yeah. Well, hopefully you're watching it from like
a little closer.
A
little closer. It'd be nice to be a little closer, but yeah, we'll see.
All right. So how long are we going for, Adam? Yeah, right. 2 hours flies. Hey.
Yeah.
So Gibbsy, like I said, you look back on the career. Like, I know you're doing some coaching now you do that with Ford's crew?
Yeah, not so much the crew. We have some fast little kids that we're sort of doing off the side.
Yeah.
So, I just do every second week.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I know his schedule's gnarly.
Yeah.
I've been there and done it. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah,
with kids. Like that's when my family came into the picture with kids, I was like, coaching's not for me anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's just impossible.
Yeah.
Because you got to be dedicated to what you're doing, right? And
it's tough.
Yeah. Like by the time you leave here, I got to go get kids from school. Like
yeah.
But like obviously TLC's obviously successful.
Yeah.
And like, where does it go from here? Like, is it just year by year? Are you just like, am I going to race next year? Am I going to like, because you're fit, you've been, you would be a good person to work with on that level as far as training and fitness. You've got the whole, and the sport's there now where everyone's working with someone.
Yep.
So for me, I'm like, I could see you running your business, training people. Where do you see it going for you? Or is it like, I don't want to think about that right now?
No, definitely. Yeah, I think about it more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think, talking with Ford, I'm really good friends with Ford, and he wants help. So there's definitely an avenue to help. I don't know to what extent.
But there's something there, yeah.
There's definitely something there, and it'd be good to I like the aspect of working with guys that are really wanting to do better as well, like at a good level. You know what I mean? I mean, it's good to coach.
But I think that's come and gone now, where it's like when I had my coaching business, first few years of it was like kickstart books, at logbook, licensing. Like we didn't train, and then I segued. The gym got me the pro guys. Not the pro guys didn't train with people back in the day. Even 12, 15 years ago. And then, the gym got me Milner and Simo and Sammy and like all these guys that trained me in the gym because I was in that area of Vic. And then we started going on the track together, and then I started working with them on a on-bike level. And then Ross came in and kind of disrupted that whole thing and took it to the next level. And he really has. And I think he set that standard now. Where the Beaton crew.
Definitely.
You got Beaton, you got Big NATO, 00 Elite, you got Ford. I think that's about it, right? As far as the pro programs. But it's like, I think, that grassroots coaching's almost gone away a little bit. But like, you're not going to be teaching a kid to put his elbows up. Like your knowledge is in helping them go to that next level.
Yeah. And it's attention to detail. Like and like you said, it's hard to, you got to be able to translate that too. You know what I mean? And you would know it's, not every really good rider can just coach, and not
a lot of good riders are horrible coaches.
Exactly. Because they don't even know how they don't even know how they're going fast. But, obviously, I've been around a long time and been through a lot of people and learnt a lot. So I feel like I can pass on a fair bit of knowledge. So, I feel with that. And then, TLC obviously will be probably back in there a little bit more and show a bit more love. Our staff have been really good, but with my wife now with the baby, she doesn't get to go in there as much as anymore. So just make that a bit more of a priority again. And
So what's the percentage of next year? What's the percentage pie of you going? You got to give me something here, man.
Oh, dude. My wife would kill me. Probably 50-50.
Yeah, okay.
I'm still like,
still holding on.
I'm still like, because you know what'll happen? I'll end up getting this bike good in the next.
And you'll do what you always do by the end.
And
of the
then
season.
I'll be like, oh, you know what? This bike isn't changing for next year.
Because I could see you at QMP being like third overall. And it's like, what's he saying in Wolf of Wall Street? I'm not fucking leaving.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
The show goes on.
Do the full cheers, eh?
Yeah.
Why
not though, bro? Like you got a good balance, like motocross only.
I know, yeah.
And there ain't no difference between 37 and 30. Like I feel the same. Well, I feel horrible because I don't train like I do. Every injury I've ever had. But if I were you and I was a pro athlete, I feel like I could still do it.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. Like I said, in my mind, I can still win.
Yeah,
it's.
Well, as a champion, you never lose that, right?
Nah, but there's got to be a day where that stops, and there's got to be a day where I'm content with that. So at this point in time, I still don't know what that is, whether it is or it isn't.
Does getting hurt scare you now? Getting older?
100%. Like the crash I had happen and hurt my shoulders this year was, that's put me back a long way. Yeah. Like that.
You got lucky there, dude.
Dude, massively. And I got really sick leading into that round, so that probably didn't help. I got like a really bad tummy bug and didn't eat for 4 days and and then from there, it's just been like, even now, I only feel like I'm just starting to come back to myself now. So
well, the bounce back rate, because you're the same age, we're the same age. It's just like 1 year or whatever. Like the bounce back rate, like when you're in your 20s and you get food poisoning, you get a little injury, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Easy.
A week later, you're
Easy.
back to yourself. I feel like it takes so much longer
Dude.
now.
It's, yeah. And everyone says it, but you don't know until you're there. Like, it's literally, like you said, my shoulders, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'll be sweet. And just, man, it's been weeks, like finally starting to feel like my shoulders have come good. And then obviously, you have a tummy bug, but then it takes you 2 weeks to get your stomach right and just get back on top and
go to the toilet again.
Yeah. Just,
Dude, you know what summed it up for me the other day? It's completely off topic, but it's related. You shave. How many times a week do you shave?
oh, dude, yeah.
Right.
Way more than I want to.
Yeah, three weeks ago.
Yeah.
Adam will vouch for it. I just have a shave, like
Yeah.
normal, right? This is why I'm all grizzly right now,
Yeah.
because I'm scared to shave anymore. Like at this age, just have a shave.
Yeah.
I get a staph infection in my like skin follicles,
Yeah.
right? Like gnarly. Like they put me on these like industrial antibiotics that kill staph because I had a shave, and I felt like shit for weeks. And I'm like, yeah, okay, this is like 40, right? Like this is where life goes, where like,
Dude.
and then you don't sleep because of the kids, and you're run
Yeah.
down all the time. And I'm like, how am I sick right now from having a shave?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
You just catch anything, dude, and just,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But
Just
you're like chill 51. You surf every day.
But yeah, 100%. It's like, older you get, the gnarlier it
So
gets.
basically, we'll see you on the line at 2026. One thing is what we're saying.
I don't know. I don't.
Does the wife, is she down for you to keep going or what?
It's funny. At stages, yes. At stages, no.
Yeah. Because you'd have had a taste in the COVID years of not being a pro rider and having a normal life together, right?
Yeah, but I still rode, man.
You just motoed.
I just
down still.
motoed. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, because we're up here,
Didn't change
you're not
much.
really, man. Like, you know how cops were like looking for people not doing their jobs and stuff. Dude, I had a van. I just, like, it's blacked out. You can't see in my van. I was straight to the track, dude, motoing out the back of Kilcoy, and
There's nothing out there. Yeah.
dude, no one even knew. I was just
Living.
motoring, man. If
Yeah.
there was a race coming, I was good.
Yeah.
I was good.
Good,
I
yeah.
was real good, but
Well, for Sunny States was like a Pro MX that year, wasn't it, up here?
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
So-
Because we were just down in Victoria, like, help.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone was stuck, man. And we were just up here motoring. So
Yeah. I mean, I rode back then. I had a bike. I was still motoring a lot. And I was not about it. Like, I didn't get vaccinated and I was not about it.
yeah.
And you could do your own, if you had your own business, there was exemptions for travel with
Yeah.
a media company.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm a media company. I'm a news outlet.
That's sweet.
In
dude.
the small print.
Yeah.
So I would do my own travel exemptions
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'd leave the quarantine zone
Yeah.
and I'd go moto.
That's
I was
sick.
like, fuck, you're not knocking me down.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I was not about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. All right. So yeah, we'll see you we'll see you at Traralgon this weekend. So
Definitely.
what's the goal this weekend? We'll finish there. Where you at? Because refresh the research I didn't do.
Yeah. I'm still at the moment. I'm third to fifth place guy.
Yeah.
At the moment, which I think if I get, I'm starting to come back to normal. So I feel like in the next couple of rounds I can start pushing a little bit harder for the podium.
Yeah. Traralgon's, have you ridden there at all?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
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 We rode there, but the track was not prepped. It was
How long ago?
straight after Warnie Vix.
Oh, so you stayed down.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
went there on the Monday. It was quite average. But I reckon the state title was like real sandy there. Hey?
Yeah,
It was-
there's a lot of sand underneath.
it wasn't
they'll-
sandy when we were
Nah,
there, dude.
we-
It was hard, man.
It's what's next to the Springfield nuclear power plant
Yeah.
from The Simpsons, but like, yeah, that track, if they bring the sand up,
Yeah.
which I think they did at the Vix,
Yeah, they said it was
it's going to be
sandy,
like
eh?
Euro spec,
Yeah.
like
Rough as.
train track kind of sand ruts.
Yeah.
It's high speed,
Yeah.
but it's
Very.
tight. It's a
Yeah,
weird deal.
It is.
Like, it's a
Very.
short track, but fast. Like, I don't know how. I'm not going because, like, I've worked on the business enough now where I'm
Yep.
like, I pick and choose. And I'm
Yep,
like,
yep.
do I stay on the beach and hang out with the kids and work from my office, or do I fly to Victoria in the winter? I'm like, yeah, pretty
No,
good.
I'm gonna stay here. Yeah. No, it's,
Adam's like,
yeah.
I hate you, man. I'm going on a flight tomorrow morning. But yeah, it's a track where if you got to start, like, you can run up front.
Yeah.
You know?
concrete start too.
Yeah, they didn't put the mesh down.
No, they
just
didn't
running
put
old school.
it. Yeah, which is probably a little bit better for there anyway, man. Because if you're,
You don't want that first turn with everyone level.
dude,
No.
and going faster,
Yeah.
like at least the concrete slows it down a little bit. So
Well, you'd be good. You've done
Yeah.
plenty of old school concrete starts.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
going to put it back in third?
No,
Nah.
no. I'll probably stall it, bro.
Yeah.
No, like I said, there's no bottom. There's
No way
We
that's
ain't got.
happening
We ain't got the
anymore.
bottom end anymore.
Nah,
bro. So,
break the 2015 out, bro.
dude, I look at it every day.
Put it in the carry on.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, hey, thanks for coming in. I knew you'd be a good story. So, yeah, it was like I said, you're a guy, same as everybody, been around you a long time,
Yeah.
but yeah, just the way it is with we're all at the races to work, you don't get
Yeah.
to have those conversations.
Well, there's always a good backstory behind, people they're at a top level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've obviously, there's stuff going on that no one sees, and
Well, that's why I moved the podcast in this direction because I
Yeah.
was like, I'm done talking surface level.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got third, all we do you as a call-in guest, and it's
Yeah,
this, that, but like, you want to know more.
Yeah, 100%.
What's the story?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good to hear it, and it's good to know you're not retiring. And we'll see you keep going. But,
yes.
all right, man. Appreciate it.
Cool. Cheers for having me.